And in this video, we're going to talk about a design style. The style that we will be discussing today is called Dadaism. If you have seen my previous videos, I've already done a study on brutalism. So the purpose of these videos are not basically to elaborate on its origin and history. I will be talking about this from a perspective of a designer and how you can actually apply this in your design works. So there are a couple of things that you need to understand when you're approaching a style. The first thing is to understand what it means, what are its personalities or traits, how can we effectively apply it to our design projects. So now, why this is important? If you can actually include a style in your design, it will definitely increase the aesthetic appeal and the value of your design. Let's take a look at what it means first. It's a deliberate denial or subversion of conventions. So, any conventional, regular, or usual norm, you are denying it, you are disagreeing with it, right? So, that is Dadaism. Dadaism in art basically started in reaction to World War I. So people who couldn't react to the war due to fear or anxiety or political pressure and all those things, they actually used the medium of art to express their disagreement. And how they did was they actually used established artworks and they vandalized it. They actually vandalized it in a way that it sends a message to everybody out there without revealing explicitly what the problem is. For instance, if you look at the Mona Lisa image, the art was to actually express, the art's function was to express the beauty of this woman, but by adding a mustache into it, they nullified that purpose. So that is Dadaism. If you look at these two designs, you can actually see Dadaism here, very evident views of it, right? Both of them doesn't have a purpose right now because of the addition of vandalism into it. So before we move forward, there's one more thing that you need to understand. Dadaism is not chaotic vandalism alone. So whenever you hear Dadaism, don't think of it like you have to destroy it into pieces and then you have to create a chaos of it. You don't have to do that. We can create minimal vandalism also in Dadaism. So it's not the vandalism. The amount of vandalism is not the trait. It's a rejection of its reason that matters a lot. Why did that art exist in the first place? You are sort of nullifying that. You are saying that the art, I destroyed it so that it doesn't have a purpose anymore, right? So you're destroying the reason for something to exist. The same thing if you think about the iron box example that we just saw, right? There is no reason for these iron boxes to exist anymore because you cannot iron clothes with it. It will tear the cloth apart, right? So you nullified the reason with these nails attached to it, right? This is a classic example of Dadaism. I will make it very, very, very simple for you to understand this. So let's go to Photoshop here. We are in Photoshop and I have this image in my screen. I hope you can see this, right? This is the smiling face of a beautiful young lady. And this is a photograph. This is an artwork. So I put text on top of it right now. This nullified the reason of that image. The reason of that image was to showcase the beauty of her face, but I negated it. I sort of said that it's not possible because I actually added something on top of it. So I did an amount of vandalism to that image. So I denied the reason, right? I disagreed with it, and then I said this. So this is Dadaism. A simple example. I'll show you another thing. If I had done the same thing with a brush, so if I did this, this is Dadaism because there is no reason for this image to exist, right? I overwrote its function and now it is a pointless image, right? So I did Dadaism here, and this is Dadaistic art. Now let's get back to our topic, which is design, okay? So Dadaism in graphic design, there is a small problem in this theory that I'm saying, right? So it actually says that if you want to include Dadaism in your design, you have to negate the reason, right? You have to disagree with the reason. You have to nullify the function of that product to bring in Dadaism. But if there is no function, there is no design, right? design needs to be having a function. So how do you do that? All right. So let's take a look at a couple of works here. You can see Dadaist examples of it. These are designs. These are not artworks. These are not Dadaist art or Dadaist products. These are graphic design examples of Dadaism, right? So let me to study this. So how can you nullify the reason in design? As I was saying, right? Design has a purpose. So if you negate that, how will this work? Let's take a look at this. As I told you, this is Dadaism. You already nullified the reason of this image. But if you take a look at this right now, you have the Dadaism on the left side. You can see the Dadaist artwork. But on the right side, you can see Dadaism with an overwritten purpose. So you negated the initial purpose of the artwork or the design, and then you overwrote it with an additional purpose, which you can see on the top right side, right? There is a text which actually says what it is all about. So if you look at all these examples right now, you can see that these are all Dadaist approaches. They took the artwork, they negated its purpose, but then it all got overwritten by an additional purpose. Let's take a look at this image. The girl's face, in the left side, you can see that the girl's face is masked by a box. So you can see the girl, but you can still see the function of this poster by reading the additional elements which were added into it. The next one, you can see the purpose. All these posters, you will be able to actually understand the purpose, but that is the secondary purpose, which was overwritten after vandalizing the source, right? So I can understand that this is a little complicated. So let me elaborate it by showing an actual example here, right? I will walk you through that example. So let's go to Photoshop. So I have a basic image that I worked on. Now I want to negate this image, right? I want to disagree with this image, and I'm going to use the same style that we did. So I'm going to say no here, and I'll change the typeface. So now this is a vandalized image, right? Still doesn't have a purpose. It just says no, right? So we vandalized it. We just vandalized the original source. Now, this is the important thing. You are going to overwrite this design with the actual purpose, right? So we will add a caption here. Let's say, so just a simple example here, right? So we had the image, that is where we started. We then did a minimal vandalism on it. We nullified the purpose of that image. Then after doing the vandalism, we added a second story on top of it that no, your story is not ending, and call this. So the design still has a purpose, but you are using Dadaism as your style, right? So this is how you can use Dadaism. This is a simple beginner's guide to approach Dadaism. Definitely there is more that you will learn about the history and evolution of Dadaism, and you will see much more examples, but to simplify it and understand it, this is the best way. So I hope this actually helps. I'll see you soon with another video. Till then, bye.